December 28, 9 o'clock. So I bought these IGBTs from Lazada. I actually ordered different part number. This one here is the proper part number, G40T60AK3HD. This one is G50, and this one is G75. So with the G40, I think it is G40, the continuous current is 40 amps with pulse current to be 80. This one being 50 amps continuous with a pulse current of 100 amps. And this one is 75 with a pulse current of 150 amps. So when you're looking at these, you have to look at the parameters. One of them is charge at the gate and the nanocoulombs. With the G40, it's closer to G50, so I decided to use G50 instead of a G75, because the nanocoulombs for this, it goes up to 300 something, and the charge is quite high. So what does that mean? It's when the device is being turned off, the higher the charge in nanocoulombs, the longer it takes to turn off. And if you don't have the proper off time, on time, it will create a shoot through. So I'm just going to, when repairing these, you have to replace all four, not just because of the damaged ones. It's basically they are already impacted, so replace all four, not the one that are damaged. Putting back the component with all of these mini pins, it's kind of hard. So you gotta have patience. One has to develop patience. It really is difficult. One has to make sure all of the holes are clear. Otherwise, it's hard for the pins to protrude out. They actually will bend out of the way. So I had to remove this array several times before all of the pins lined up. So now I'm going to solder these. However, before you do anything, one should do a what you call sanity check. Make sure all of the pins have protruded, because once you start soldering and you have to desolder them out again, it's a pain. So better to do sanity check before having to solder the pins. So everything is put back together. So I'm just going to connect the inverter to the battery and turn it on and see what happens. So everything is connected. The fuses has been replaced, and I'm gonna turn it on. So far so good. So there's actually an output now. So we're going to see the output voltage. So this is the output. I'm gonna put a meter on it. Okay, let's summarize the failure mode. So why did this MOSFET here burn? It's because the IGBT is shorted, and so it put a great stress to the MOSFET, because what it does is it pulses this transformer to give out 220 or 240 output, and when the load out of the transformer is great, it overheats the MOSFET, and not just the MOSFET, it would overheat the resistor, transistor, and the driver. So So basically, the bridge here, the IGBT bridge, is damaged by a shoot through. It overloads the transformer, and the MOSFET tries to drive the transformer, and they couldn't handle the overheat, and it would just get burnt. They go thermal. So it's a cascading effect. Damaged IGBT cascades back into the 24 to 220 volts transformer. Overheat. There's probably a rapid thermal, and the computer is unable to manage that. In theory, it should turn off the system before any failure will occur. However, the rapid failure is that the computer itself cannot handle it, so it'll keep driving the MOSFET, and eventually the MOSFET fails. So that's how it works. It's just a cascading of failures. So, number one, shoot through, damage the IGBT. Number two, the MOSFET will keep pushing current through the transformer. Eventually, the MOSFET will go thermal. It takes along with it the 30 ohm and the 20K ohm pull down, and then the NPN and PNP transistor, and then the driver. So, from this lessons learned, you don't actually need to create a schematic. As long as you understand how the MOSFET drive this and how the IGBT bridge works, no schematic required. You can fix this kind of stuff by experience, by tearing down something like this and then figuring out what needs to be replaced, and so on and so forth. So if you're asking for schematic, the schematic is in my head. I'm too lazy to create a full schematic of this circuit board, so don't ask for it. Simply that it's really easy to repair this kind of stuff. What goes wrong? IGBT bridge, MOSFETs gets damaged, along with the associated component, resistor, and driver. As long as the computer is working, you can repair these quite easily. So that's it. So honestly, if having now repaired this and looking at the time I spent on it, piece-wise, aggregated, it's less than an hour. You just call it an hour. What's the longest time? Is the waiting to procure the component from Lazada, if you can get it. That's pretty much it. It's really quite simple to fix this kind of stuff. Keep in mind though, when I was looking at the data sheet of the component, they're obsolete. Even this Freescale or NXP computer is getting up to being obsolete. So basically, once a component, you can't buy the component. Like this micro 9S08, 9S08. I've used 9S08 for many years, and they're getting up to the obsolete. They're probably obsolete by now. They're probably going to go last buy, something like that. And that's pretty much it. Simple, easy peasy. Thanks for watching.